The US Secretary of State has issued a stern warning about any deals done with China under its Belt and Road Initiative. The Victorian government has been criticised for refusing to release federal government advice about the state's contentious economic partnership with China. Secretary Pompeo says he isn't aware of the specific details relating to Victoria's agreement, but warned the US would be prepared to disconnect if the deal adversely impacted America's telecommunications.
We will not take any risk to our telecommunications infrastructure, any risk to the national security elements of what we need to do with our Five Eyes partners. We're going to protect and preserve the security of those institutions. So I don't know the nature of those projects precisely, but to the extent they have an adverse impact on our ability to protect telecommunications from our private citizens or security networks for our defense and intelligence communities, we will simply disconnect. We will simply separate. We're going to preserve trusted networks for important information. We hope our friends and partners and allies across the world, especially our Five Eyes partners like Australia, will do the same.
Secretary Pompeo says the conditions imposed by China on Belt and Road deals present a real risk and increase China's capacity to do harm. The federal government has also been critical of Victoria's agreement with China. Premier Daniel Andrews says he hadn't seen Mr Pompeo's comments but sought to defend his state's deal.
My position on these matters is very well known, very well understood. It's all about Victorian jobs, and we'll continue to work at a strong partnership. Doesn't mean we agree on everything. There are many things we don't agree on. But what I think all of us here, and indeed both parts of our partnership, both Victoria, Australia and China, surely we all have to concede and we all have to recognise that a good, strong partnership is in everybody's interests.
Well, we didn't support that decision at the time they made it. And the national interest issues on foreign affairs are determined by the federal government. And I respect their jurisdiction when it comes to the issues that they're responsible for. And it's always been the usual practice for states to respect and recognise the role of the federal government in setting foreign policy. And I think that's always been a good practice.
The US ambassador to Australia has issued a statement after Mr Pompeo's comments, saying the United States has absolute confidence in the Australian government's ability to protect the security of its telecommunications networks and those of its Five Eyes partners. We have made no secret of our concerns about 5G, and we commend Australia for its leadership on the issue.